Hi, my name is Kerry Jerome Clark, and this is my Mother's Day audio card to my mother, Elizabeth Clark. My earliest memory of my mother is her being the yard duty at my school. I think I was probably in the third grade, and um, she was the yard duty at my school. So I was, messing with the girls or, trying to lift their skirts up, chasing them, and all this kind of stuff. And they would run and tell my mother, Miss Clark, Carrie keeps lifting up my dress. And she would come over and tell me, now, Carrie, you're not supposed to be doing that. And of course I knew that, but, it was crazy having my mother as the yard duty at my school. That was bananas. So, she was able to watch after me at school too, which was good. And I wasn't that bad. I was a great academic. I got A's and B's, so it wasn't a problem. So that's my earliest memory of my mother, seeing her being the yard duty at my school, and that was fairly early. So I can't remember back to like 6 or 5 or nothing like that. But then, so moving forward, when I was 8, my mother taught me how to make rice. She taught me several ways to make rice, not just one way. Top on, top off, measuring the water, and that helps me to this day because there's grown people right now that don't know how to make rice. So my mother taught me how to make rice, and she was teaching me how to be self-sufficient because she was like, I don't want you to have to keep waking me up to give you something to eat when you can just do it yourself. So I know how to make sandwiches. I know how to make rice. I know how to boil hot dogs, which may not seem like a lot, but I'm an 8-year-old, and I didn't burn down a house, so that's a plus. Also, early on, she made me a deal. She said, Carrie, if you never lie to me, you'll never get a whooping. The only whooping I've ever had, which was a half a whooping, it doesn't really count, I asked for it. I don't know what I did because it was early, and I asked for a whooping, and my grandmother said, "Yeah, you better whoop him too." So, and I don't even remember the whooping. My mother was not keen on anybody putting their hands on me. Adults, kids, whatever. She did not allow people. She didn't allow people to threaten to hit me. So that was a plus. My mother had my back. So I never gave her any trouble. If I stole something, when I was young, I told her. She'll say, Carrie, did you steal it? Yes. I did. I stole it. One incident I remember, well, I'm not going to talk about that incident because I don't know who's listening. But okay, I'll tell you. There was one incident that happened. We were in Sacramento, and every time I would go and pee, my little cousin would look under the door. She would look under the door and say, "I see your thing. I see your thing." And I was so annoyed because she'd do that all day. All day she'd do that. And every time I go to the bathroom, "I see your thing. I see your thing." So me being an irrational kid, I opened the door while she was still down there telling me, "I see your thing," and I peed on her. Which is, I'm not advocating peeing on other children. I'm just saying I was that frustrated. And her mother was so mad, hecka mad. And she was like, "Your son just peed on my daughter." And my mother was like, "Well, she shouldn't have been bothering him." He warned her several times to leave him alone, and she got peed on. So they were really mad that I didn't get whooped then. But that's what kind of mother I had. My mother is the kind of mother that sees my side more than anything. Like, she was very understanding on seeing my point of view. And even to this day, I tell people, like, if you're going to tell my mother on me, you've already lost. Because my mother has my back. If I was to go out here and hit people upside the head, and take their money, they go interview my mother and be like, your son's just beating people over the head and taking their money. What's wrong with him? And she'll be like, well, there must have been something wrong with those people. They must have had it coming. Which I'm not saying is right, but my mother's wonderful. I love her for that. I feel like we grew up together, me and my mother. Because I feel like she was young. Definitely, she was young. All I remember is her being 26. I thought she was 26 most of my life. You know, people ask how old your mother is. 26. My mother's 26. So I would always say that. The other thing I wanna bring up is, until recently, I have always thought that I was 15 years younger than my mother. I've thought this my entire life. I don't know where I got lost at, because I wasn't keeping track of her age, right? But I always thought I was 15 years younger than her, and it turns out that that's not true. She's older than that. She's more than 15 years older than me. Because my joke has always been, well, me and my mother are close to the same age. You know what I'm saying? She's just 15 years older than me. I'd always say that. And so I found out as I did the numbers recently that she's actually older than that. She's more than 15 years older than me, and I shouldn't have been saying that. So now I was wrong. So anyhow, I remember back when I was a preteen. I was a preteen. Now here's the point. I was a preteen. The only men that were in her life seriously were my father and my stepfather, who was Brandon's father. And that's the only two men that have ever been in her life seriously. Now that goes to tell you, and that I didn't have men running in and out of my life. I didn't have uncle this, uncle that, and and all that kind of stuff. I had two men in my life that were able to tell me what to do. Here's the thing. So I used to walk in when we go to a supermarket. I would walk behind her, so guys couldn't look at her butt. I was protective of her. So here we are walking through the supermarket. All I'm doing is walking behind her, blocking people. I'm hating. I'm blocking, so they couldn't look at her butt. And because I didn't want to have to bother with men trying to talk to her. I was very protective of my mother. So in my opinion, my mom is the single most important that's funny, most important person in my life. And because she showed me everything that I need to know early. I knew everything that I needed to have in life very early. Before I was a teenager, I knew how to do everything I needed to do. I knew how to wash clothes. I knew how to separate the whites from the colors. I knew how to clean up. I knew that I had to eventually get a job to pay bills. I knew all this kind of stuff. So I wasn't a naive little boy, because she talked to me. My mother talked to me all the time. Like, she would tell me right from wrong. What was right, what was wrong. We would talk about politics, current events, and she was a speed reader. Now, here's the thing. I got into reading because my mother is a speed reader. So she would read a book in like a day, be finished with it, pass it to me. I'd start reading it. It'd take me like a month. But she would be done with it in a day. I always admire that about my mother. She's a speed reader. That is miraculous. So, the thing is, today is Mother's Day, and I wanted to wish my mother a happy Mother's Day and tell her that she's special to me, even though I'm thousands of miles away. Nobody better not mess with her, because I take my mother very seriously. I would have to hit somebody. I want to tell her I love her, and so I love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day, and I hope you get all your wishes come true. Which sounds kind of corny, how all your wishes come true, because all of nobody's wishes comes true, right? But hopefully a few of your wishes come true. How about that? And your card is coming. I put it in the mail yesterday. I'm recording this on Saturday, but I put it in the mail on Friday, so maybe it'll get to you Monday. Hopefully not Tuesday. Hopefully it gets to you Monday. But I want to tell you that I love you, and you're very important to me. And have a great day, Mom.